YTBC, what's the deal? So I'm on eastsideboxing.com. I frequent this site from time to time nowadays, but I'm on here and I see a interview by Dominic Brazil. I'm gonna read a little bit of it. Well, first of all, Dominic Brazil is back in the gym after his fight with Amir Mansour that happened. What was that, last month? It's a good fight. Brazil was down in the third, and then we know that Mansour does not come out for the sixth round. It was a very damn entertaining fight. I had Mansour winning the fight. Brazil looked like he was coming on. As a little bit looked like Mansour was running out of gas. Now Mansour has argued that he was running out of gas because he was swallowing blood. Whatever the case, just viewing it on TV, he was running out of gas. To me, it looked like Brazil was coming on with just his activity in that fight. But it was a damn good scrap, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna read a little bit of this article and then I'm gonna give my opinion on it. All right, so I'm gonna read a quote, okay? Now, first of all, Dominic Brazil has this what is this thing in LA he got right now? It's called his first annual Trouble Boxing Camp. It's for kids in the LA area. So he's giving back to the local kids in that community. It's always a great thing giving back to kids, especially with something free, you know what I mean, with something free. And not only just that it's free, it's motivational speakers, special guests, and you can give these kids some advice that they can hold on to for the rest of their lives. Camps like this, sometimes for some children, they remember this, and this, can be a turning point in one of these young boys or girls' lives, man. So it's great to see this, and it's going to be with young kids and teenagers, so they'll be going to the gym for one day and they'll learn the basic fundamentals and so on and so forth. Should be an excellent day for the kids. All right, now let's get down to some grown man business here. All right, so he goes on to say that I fought the tougher opposition than all other current world champions did when they had their first 17 fights. And I know I'm ready to challenge any one of them right now. Every bout I have had, I have learned from, and I continue to learn every day in the gym with my trainer. I'm ready for whatever my advisor, Al Haymon, has next for me, and I will always tell him I want to fight the best, all right? I will leave this article in the description box, and you can go from there and make your own surmise about the article. But as far as, Dominic Brazil, the fighter, I hear a lot of people get on him. They think they look at his body shape. He's not cut up enough for them. He's not muscle bound enough. You look at his overall experience. He picked up boxing late, but he did make the damn Olympics. You know what I mean? But he did pick up boxing late. He worked out at the All-American heavyweight camp out there in Carson, California, where they manufacture, heavyweights. They bring in athletes. From former basketball players, football players, hockey players, whatever. Bring in big athletes and try to train them, put them through different tests and sparring matches, and see who's the cream of the crop. And he rose in that camp. Him, Gerald Washington, Charles Martin. So. But one thing you can't say about Dominic Brazil is, one thing that I'm impressed with is once he gets hit on the chin, he's not just going to fold. Yeah, he may get knocked down, but at least he'll get back up. I've seen some prospects just fold. I'm not going to say who they are. I'm not going to tear another prospect down to build up Dominic Brazil here, but he didn't fold, man. Amir Mansour is bringing that heat. Now, you can say that, Amir Mansour split his tongue open, so let's say if Mansour didn't get hurt. Okay, well, that didn't happen, and that's hypothetical. What I do know is Brazil went down. He was hurt. He was getting pushed back a little bit, and he fought a better fight against Mansour than Gerald Washington did, in my opinion, as far as being aggressive. Now, Washington did a very good job of controlling the distance with Mansour with his jab, and he looked a lot more fluid on his feet. He did some things better than Brazil, but I like how Brazil was aggressive. I'll just say that, personally, I liked how he was more aggressive. Some of you may disagree, and that's fine. He was able to stop Mansour in his tracks a few times with some good right hands. I'm not saying, what I will say is the kid wants to fight, man. Whatever you think of his skill level or his technique, that's fine. He does have deficiencies. He picked up the sport late. You would expect that. But he wants to fight. He wants to fight. He's not running away from nobody. And he's undefeated, man. No matter how we slice or dice it, he's undefeated. And another thing that we can't slice or dice is he has an 82-inch reach. We can't get away from the fact that he's 6'7" and he's 260 pounds and he's a natural athlete. We can't get away from those things. This isn't a bodybuilding contest or a physique contest. Now some of the journeymen he's beat are decent journeymen. Devin Vargas and who else did he fight as good journeyman? Nagy Aguilera was another decent journeyman. Um, Fred Cassie, that's a good win. Cassie's a tricky guy to deal with. How many heavyweights? First of all, how many heavyweights that can do a standing backflip? Not too many. Fred Cassie's that guy. I've seen him do a backflip in the ring. Did see him get knocked out by Mansoor. Got knocked out face first, brutal knockout. But it was a good fight up until the knockout. Now the scorecards. You know, it was a good fight up until the knockout. I'll give him that. The Consuegra fight. He was an undefeated prospect when Brazil beat him. He was 17-0 at the time. So he's getting some good fights. Even if the guys aren't household names, they're still good prospects. A good test for a prospect. Going against some savvy guys like Aguilera and Cassie. Cassie can switch from righty to lefty on you. He's hard to deal with. That fight I thought was a draw with Brazil and Cassie had a fight with Chris Arreola that I thought he won. Another close fight. Fred Cassie is hard to deal with. Like I said, Mansoor has some trouble with him up until the knockout. So not too many prospects I'm looking around have those type of names. Another 17-0 prospect, Consuegra, Fred Cassie, and Amir Mansoor. All victories. I mean, tell me another prospect. Some of these prospects has the Paul Butlins and the Ivica Perkovics and the Jason Gavrans and those type of guys. But once you're a prospect and you start getting Cassie and Mansoor, in my opinion, just watching you on the way up and through the ranks, those are good fights for right now. I'm not saying these wins right here give him a title shot, but shit, Charles Martin, and got a title shot. Lees Glaskov has fought other high-rated journeyman level guys than Martin, in my opinion. But anyways, they fought for the title. So Brazil says he wants a title shot within the next year or so. I think a good name for him to fight right now. I'm looking at who Al Haymon can present him with on the PBC card. Al Haymon can make pretty much anything work, but just some of his fighters, I'm thinking Travis Kaufman came off that fight with Arreola. A lot of people thought Kaufman won that fight. I had him winning 114, 113. Really good fight. That was Arreola coming in at one of his lightest weights in that fight. I thought Kaufman won that fight. Archer Spilka, another good fight. He's came off the knockout loss to Deontay Wilder, but Archer Spilka is throwing his name out there for fights right now. Anyways, he wants to get back in action. Like, Spilka's not the type of guy just because he got knocked out, he wants to go in there with a soft touch. I'm not saying that he will go in there with Spilka saying he wants the rematch with Wilder. You know what I mean? So I think Spilka's brave enough to get in there, man, even right after a knockout loss. But Arreola should be out with the failed drug test. Adam Konecki, New York kid with a Polish following, that'd be a good fight. Eddie Chambers. How about Eddie Chambers? Now I hear Eddie Chambers is coming back over and he says, I know he was out with the Fury camp and had some fights out there in the UK, but he's back over here and he wants some fights. He says that he's a high risk, low reward. I did a video about that about a few weeks ago. So Eddie Chambers would be a good fight. So I definitely want to see Brazil at least get somebody that's on a Amir Mansoor level, a top 25 heavyweight, somebody like that, top 30-ish heavyweight. But let's not go backwards and give him a journeyman with a losing record. I don't think he wants that. I think he wants to keep going. So Eddie Chambers, Travis Kaufman, Spilka, I'll watch all those fights. Just putting this out there, man. Just getting Dominic Brazil some shine. Get some heavyweight news out there. YTBC, I'm out.